That bright orange thing in the sky that we love so much, that is a part of everyday life in Thailand. The sun. It can also be your worst nightmare. So, welcome back to the channel, touching down from Chiang Mai City in northern Thailand. Bit of a serious subject today, guys. We're going to talk about the sun and what it can mean to you when you come to live in Thailand. This is not just a Thailand situation. The sun in many tropical places or where it's sunny, the sun can cause problems, right? But this is a Thailand channel. I live in Thailand, so we're going to talk about the sun and UV rays and light. So I've had a few worries about my skin while I've been living here for the previous years. When I first got here, you know, when you first come here, the sun is the last thing on your mind. You never think about this. This is why this is quite a good subject. And yeah, you never think about the sun. You're loving it that it's sunny here, right? I've been here for a long time, so my skin starts to change because it's sunny every day. And during the early days, I never really thought about it. I was going out on a bicycle and sometimes a lot of time without a hat or anything. And yeah, typical English guy, right? When you're from somewhere like England, you don't, you know, we stay in it for hours, man, because we don't have a lot of it back home. Whenever we do get it, we will stay in it for as long as we can. And I think when you live somewhere like this, as you can see by the ties, it doesn't really work like that, and you have to look after yourself a little bit more. I'm a fair-skinned guy. I've got freckles on my arms, and I used to be covered in freckles on my face when I was a kid as well. But as you grow older, I think freckly people on the face, that sort of, you grow out of it and it disappears, but it always stays on your arms and things. And yeah, the last couple years, when you're in the sun, as you probably already know, this guy's skipping, doing laps. It's not going to plan, this vlog. So yeah, freckles, when you freckly or you got spots, the sun always makes them darker and makes them appear a lot more. So when I was back home, the freckles I had and stuff, you could hardly see them on the arm because I was so pale anyway. But as soon as you get to a hot climate where the sun's out all the time, freckles appear where you never even knew you had freckles. Sun brings out freckles. So yeah, getting back to the story, the longer I've been here, the more darker some of my freckles have gone, and some of my spots and some of my skin. And I've had a spot on my head. I've talked about this before, where I had to question myself, did it used to be there before? Do I remember having this on my head? Because I always wasn't bald, obviously. I used to have hair, and I always think, did I just miss this when I used to look at my head? Was there always a little freckle there or a spot? And I was questioning myself for a few weeks like that, because yeah, I won't go to the doctor for any reason, but that's not a great idea. You should. Anything you see that you think is not right on your body, you should go to the doctors. But nothing was happening, nothing was changing with my, you know, the dark spots that I got. I just put it down to, oh, it's always been there, or it's just a sunspot. I also developed some white patches as well on my skin as the time's gone by here, and I sort of knew what they was, sunspots, age spots, but that was still a thought in my mind, because whenever I get sick here or something's on my body or a rash or something, I always think the worst, and I'm always on Google all the time. That's not the best situation to do. Google will always tell you that it's serious or you're dying. But that's just what we do as humans, right? Especially me. I'm a worrier like that, and sometimes I will read that and it'll be on my mind for days, and I will still not go to the doctor unless I really have to. Yes, this little spot on my head was the one that was worrying me, really. The one that I kept thinking, what if it is what if it's melanoma and a skin cancer, and if I don't go to the doctor, I could have it, and one day it could be too late. So yeah, after the last few months from now, I'm going to say, like, the last few months I've really thought, right, I've got to go and see someone. Asians are a lot less prone to skin cancer than people in the West. So in Thailand, they're not really clued up on it a hell of a lot. Of course, there's skilled doctors here, but the dermatologists here are probably not as used to diagnosing stuff like that as in the West. So yeah, I looked into it a bit in Chiang Mai, and I know it's not worth going to a normal doctor here, my normal doctor, because they're just going to refer you to a dermatologist in the hospital. So I've done some research myself, and it just came down to one doctor here that everybody recommends. I forgot the name, I'll put it up on the screen, but she's amazing. She's hard to get hold of in a private clinic. You can see her at the Ram hospital as well, but I will never ever go to the Ram again because it's a big rip-off. Once you've been here for a while, you will learn the cheaper ways to get the same treatment, if that makes sense, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I found out there's a big waiting list to see the skin doctor. She's one of the best skin doctors in Chiang Mai. So I think I had to wait like 2 weeks. So I said, yeah, I'll make the appointment and I'll come in 2 weeks time. And yeah, I'm scared, breaking it every day. I've been wearing my hat more than usual, because sometimes I don't wear my hat, but 90% of the time I'm wearing my hat. And yeah, so I went to see her yesterday. I had my appointment, went to see her, to go up near the other side of the city, right in rush hour. So yeah, I was I was moaning on the bike, stuck in traffic. Am I going to make it in time? Waiting in a waiting room, scared to death, thinking, I've got the big C word, can't even say it. It's hard to even say that word, right? And yeah, she called me in. I told her, she had a look at my head. She had a look at some of my arms, my dark freckles on my hand. And the head was the one that I was really worried about. So she had a look at my head and she was like, that's a sunspot from many years ago. So yeah, it's a big relief. So I actually thought I had melanoma, skin cancer, and so yeah, that was a big relief. She said it was, and what she said was it wasn't even from now, it was probably from probably 5 years ago. So even if you don't have nothing now, guys, showing, it doesn't mean that something can develop in the future. So even if that would have probably, this mark on my head would have probably developed even if I went home, it comes after time. So, and the one on my arm, which is a white patch, she said that is a age spot from just being out in the sun as well. With age, I'm nearly 50, and this is what happens. So yeah, I've got one of them, a white patch. What else did I show her? Yeah, the shoulder, the one on my hand, my dark freckle, and she said, yep, that's just a freckle from the sun. So everything was cool, man, which I'm really happy about. And yeah, I celebrated with going out for a burger, skipping and dancing outside of the doctor's office. But it really made me think, now I'm looking after myself a little bit more now, guys. When I first got here, I used to ride Black Beauty around, not a care in the world, fair skin, driving around sunburnt to death all the time. And now I've got Factor 60 sun cream, which I buy from online, because as I said, Thai people don't really suffer so much from skin cancer, or that's why you can never find sun cream here too much. You can buy it here, but it's not like in abundance like back in the West. And I've done some research, and skin cancer is rising in Thailand actually, even though the Asian people don't get it so much. It is on the rise, especially in Asian women, I've read, and the survival rate here from it is like 50-50, I think. It's a low case of people getting it, but it's a high rate of people, curtains all over from it. So it is on the rise here as well. I think it's something we don't take seriously, us Westerners, because we want to sit in the sun, we want the sun, we love the sun. Why do you think the Thais are all wearing jeans and jackets and covering up all the time? It's because when you live in an environment like this, it's totally different from the Western thought you have about, oh, you come in here and you're gonna love the sunshine. And it's different if you come here on holiday, I think, because the chances are a lot slimmer if you just come in here in the sun for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, even though you can catch skin cancer at any point. But you know, if you're on holiday mode, it's a lot less in it. But when this UV rays are on you every single day, day after day, this is what I've been thinking. I've been thinking, man, you have been out in the sun a lot, every day, constant. My ears and my neck are exposed as well, but I smother them in some sun cream now when I know I'm going out. I wanted to share this because, yeah, it's been on my mind a lot, and I'm relieved to know that it's just a sunspot that I've got on me. But I asked the doctor, and she said it will never go away. You can bleach it away with creams and stuff. So, you know, I don't want to grow old with loads of sunspots on my head either. And I said, look, am I going to get loads more probably? And she was like, yeah, if you stay in here, if you're in UV and you're not covering up, the chances are you will get more sunspots. So yeah, I wouldn't like the thought of being covered in sunspots, but I know some older people are, so I'm gonna have to look after myself a little bit more now with the sun cream. And you know, I wear a hat a lot, don't I, in my vlogs, but during the early days I never really did too much. 50-50. I've always wore a hat, but I used to ride the bicycle around getting sunburned and everything. So yeah, going forward, living in this climate, that's going to change for me. So the old cap, it's a good job I like caps and wear caps as a trademark in my vlogs, because yeah, it's important, especially if you got a bald head and you're fair. On Facebook and stuff, there's frangs all the time getting skin cancers cut out of their body, going down to Ram Hospital. I've looked it up, and there's quite a few people here actually that are getting treatment for it, because especially down on the beaches, I would say Chiang Mai is, I'm not sure how high Chiang Mai is on the list, but I'm sure the beach areas would be worse, I would have thought, with where you can have your top off and stuff. Luckily I'm not one of them guys that walk around in budgie smugglers and, you know, hardly nothing on. You can't do that in Chiang Mai anyway. But I'm always a guy, I sort of dress like a Thai person now. I've not really got much skin exposed. I wear long trousers a lot as well, so I think that's probably helped me a lot over the years. But yeah, it doesn't matter, right? If you've got skin exposed to the sun, it only has to be a little bit, right? It doesn't need to be your whole body. Yeah, so luckily I'm all good, no problems at all. But it makes you think. And for other people, it's not all a bed of roses, is it? People walk into that same doctor's office where they have got a problem and they need to get it sorted. So yeah, I'm going to stop waffling, guys, and maybe it can make you think a little bit different about the glorious sunshine and the glorious life here. We all love the sun, right? It's amazing, but you do have to treat it with respect. Because in England, we're not used to the sun, and when it's out, you can go crazy really for the month or 3 weeks that it's out, and it's not really gonna bother you too much, I don't think. But everyday life, it's a different matter. I'm gonna stop waffling. Hope you're all safe and sound as always, and I will see you in the next one. So take it easy, man. Take it easy.